Hey everyone, welcome to Post2Post. Thank you so much for joining me. We're talking round 4 of the jersey contest. If you're new and you haven't seen the previous 3 rounds, I don't want to spoil anything for you, but you're going to see who's made it to the final 4 in this video. I'm going to bring up the bracket in a second, but a quick shout out to the sponsors for this contest. I'm talking about Cool Hockey, Sports Templates, and Jersey Factory. The winner of this contest is going to get their jersey physically made. They're going to get some free templates. They're going to get a jersey from me. It's a fun process for me because it's a jersey that is representing my brand, and it's also a fun process for me to see your creativity, see what the community can do to generate new ideas. Maybe they'll design a jersey for this contest and see something that they really like or learn a new skill and be like, oh, okay, maybe I can translate that into a different jersey for an NHL team or something like that. So I love seeing the community support here and input and votes as well. I posted these on Twitter last night. I calculated the votes. I've got them up on the paper here. I've written them down. But although I agree with almost 95% of the votes, I've always sided one way or another. There are times when I need to make a decision for myself and kind of go against the popular vote, and I've done that so far in the contest a couple of times. But let's get into these matchups. Let's bring up the actual bracket here first and see who these matchups are. So we've got Emblematic versus Gabriel along the left, and then John R. versus Marissa along the right. So we're down to the final 4. And let's get into the first matchup, and that's going to be Emblematic versus Gabriel. Battle of the gradients, if you will. Emblematics on the left goes hard with the gradient, bright pink, bright blue along the bottom with a nice transition in the middle. Grayed out the logo, the numbers, kind of the rest of the jersey along the inner arms. A very unique approach and a very cool approach as well. Love the gradient, is very, very vibrant. Now over to Gabriel's, he's gone with a bit of a subtle approach. Still got the gradient in there, but a very nice blue going up into the black at the top, representing some of the provinces that I've lived in, Prince Edward Island and New Brunswick there on the shoulders. Nice general striping, kept the logo colorized, like the numbers as well. I wish that they were white, my only little bit of criticism there. So the votes here on Twitter and on Discord, I asked some of my friends on Discord as well. Emblematic got 6 votes and Gabriel got 25 votes. So it was very clear that the majority of you, at least on Twitter, preferred Gabriel's design. And I'm going to side with you here. I'm actually going to send Gabriel onto the finals. I looked at both of these jerseys and I felt like Gabriel's was the one that would kind of age the best. I don't know if Emblematics would age that well. I fear it's a little bit too aggressive and I might get tired eyes looking at it for 5 years down the road. I feel like Gabriel's kind of the safer route, but it also has a gradient as well. Both the jerseys are amazing. Like I literally love both of the jerseys. It was a tough decision, even though the votes on Twitter were heavily to one side, which is Gabriel's. It was closer for me, if I'm completely honest. But I am going to choose Gabriel. Gabriel, congratulations, you are moving on to the final. Now the next matchup. Here's a little bit of a different story. This was close on Twitter, on Discord with my friends, with me, with the sponsors. Anyone who I really kind of sent this to had a really tough time deciding. They liked both. I don't think there's anyone out there who looked at either of these and was like, oh, I really hate that one. That's how good both of these are. And they're both good for completely different reasons. But let's get to the vote and let me tell you what it is. So John R's got 28 votes for himself, and then Marissa got 22. So John R holds the pen here as far as most votes for him. But Marissa also got a lot of votes too. It was kind of close. Both had over 20 votes. And it's tough. Like, this is so difficult. I really struggled with this one, and these could be finalists. Like, I could be picking the winner right here, potentially. That's how good both of these jerseys are. And I had a hard time deciding, and the only way that I could decide to send someone on to the finals between these two was not to ask myself or think about the things that I liked about each jersey, but to ask myself and think about the things I didn't like about each jersey. So let's kind of go through both and do this a little bit backwards, and I'm going to tell you the things that I don't like about each jersey. Let's start with John R's on the left. The shoulder patches are probably the biggest negative for me. I don't mind that they're mirrored in colors and adding a little bit of balance. The numbers also do that. But the shoulder patch design in itself, I don't know, it almost has this like golf ball look to it with the circle on the top, circle on the bottom, or whatever you want to call that. It's just kind of average for me. I don't love it. I wouldn't say hate it. I just don't love it. I don't really like it. It's just average. And the smoke design itself, this is a positive and a negative. So I'm going to say some nice things about this, even though Said I was going to talk about the things I don't like. But the positive about it is that it is completely unique. It's one of those jerseys that you could lay down on a table or lay down on your bed or just hold it in front of you and probably look at it for 20 minutes and analyze all the little details of the smoke and stuff. Like, that's such a unique thing to do. I don't know any other jersey that you could potentially take a good, hard, long look at. Maybe the Anaheim Ducks Reverse Retro, because that, the front of that one's kind of crazy. But this is like that. And I think that is a very strong thing, but I think it might also be a negative thing as well. I'm worried that it might wear on me over time. It is so kind of aggressive, and there's just a lot going on. You could argue that it's a little bit busy along the bottom, but I love the fact that he went hard. Like, he went after it. He took a risk. A lot of the times with jersey concepts, when you go hard like that, it doesn't pay off. The risk is never worth it. But John R. made the risk, and it was worth it. He made it all the way, well, at least to this section here. What about Marissa's? What about hers? There must be something on her jersey that I dislike as well. There's not. There is nothing. And this is kind of the point where I had to decide who to send on. Was ask myself what I didn't like about each jersey. And I got to Marissa's and I'm like, there's nothing I don't like. Like, I love the shoulder patch. I like the general jersey design. It's a very simple jersey design, but I think that's one of the positive things about that. From a distance, looks like a regular hockey jersey, but then when you look at the little details and see the gradients in the striping, and then the gradients along the numbers, and the way that she did the shoulder patches, graying them out, kind of like the Carolina Hurricanes do with their alternate jersey, but then drawing your attention back in with the outline there, the gradient along the neck and the logo. So she's done a wonderful job of really, it's a simple jersey design, but also making it completely unique, and she was very innovative as well with a lot of her decisions. And for that reason, I'm going to send her on to the finals. So congratulations, Marissa. You are moving on to the finals. There's nothing about the jersey that I don't like. So a very, very difficult decision. John R's was amazing. It got most of the popular votes on Twitter. So I'm going to go against those votes and obviously send Marissa on. But I have to think about what jersey I physically want made for myself and what I want hanging in the background. And I think this would look great in 10 years from now. It looks like a regular hockey jersey. It doesn't look like a specialty jersey. And there's nothing wrong with specialty jerseys, but I'm old school. I kind of like the classic look as much as the modern look is appealing for me as well. I kind of, if I'm only going to get one shot at this, but if I'm only going to get one jersey made, I got to choose Marissa's in this situation. So the finals are going to be Gabriel versus Marissa. I got to talk to the sponsors. We got to figure out who's going to win this and go from there. So you'll see the finals video probably later this week at the earliest, or probably latest early next week. So keep an eye out for that. I'm also going to be posting that matchup on Twitter as well in the next coming days. So make sure you're following me on Twitter. It's at Post2Post Show, because I need your feedback. Who do you think is going to win this between Gabriel and Marissa? Follow me on Twitter. We can have a conversation over there. I'll be tallying those votes as well before I film that final video. And I do have a bit of news from the sponsor. So I've been asked multiple times, is it possible for us to buy the winning jersey? So I've been asked that probably 15 plus times from you guys, or from some of you guys at least. You really have an interest to buy the winning jersey because it's going to be physically made. And if they're physically making it, I want one too. That's kind of what people are saying. And I appreciate that. Like, I'm not going to get any money from that, and I don't expect any money. It's not really about that. But I appreciate your interest in wanting to wear my brand, I guess, or wear the winning jersey. So the answer is kind of yes. It could potentially be available for sale, but it would act kind of like a pre-order. So for example, you wouldn't be able to go to a site and find it and add it to your cart and check out and whatnot. You would almost need to pre-order it and give your information and pay for it in advance, and then it would be created and kind of sent to you after production was done. You'd have to basically pay for it before it was physically produced, so they knew how many to produce, because it's a process, guys. It's a process to print all these jerseys, so they need to know how many they need to print before they start the printing process, because once it's done, it's done. They're not doing it again. So I'll have more information hopefully for you guys during the next video. So if you're interested in that, please stay tuned. If you're not subscribed, please hit the subscribe button to see that future video. And thank you to everyone who's submitted in this contest, everyone who's watching, and anyone who's just interested in jerseys and jersey concepts. I appreciate you. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Adios.